In this lesson, you'll learn some more advanced techniques for working with string variables. To begin, open the Shining Stone sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of by.aspx if it isn't open already. Now click in the Page Load event handler and type string. If you look carefully in the IntelliSense menu, you'll notice that there are two entries for string, one in lowercase and one with a capital S. In code, string with a capital S means exactly the same thing as string in lowercase. So which is the better writing style? All of Microsoft's examples use the lowercase version, and for this reason, I've used the same in the code examples in this course. However, there's a very good argument that using the uppercase version is better coding practice, because the uppercase version is the real name of the string type in the .NET framework. There are similar alternative names for some other variable types, and you'll see these later in this session. Now, you could create a string variable without a value by typing something like string test string. You might expect this to be exactly the same as string test string equals and an empty set of quotes. But this is actually completely different. The first example would create a string with a null value, while the second would create an empty string. You'll learn more about null in lesson 5.12. Now remove all of the code from the page load event handler, and next you're going to write some code to attach two strings together. As well as setting the value of a string, as you did in lesson 5.2, you can join two strings together using a plus sign. Joining two strings together is also called concatenating. Add a new line after string address 1 in the button submit order click event handler, and add the following code. Address 1 equals an HTML break tag plus address 1. This code will add an HTML break tag to the beginning of the address 1 string variable. You learned about the HTML break tag in lesson 2.2. Now view the page in your browser, fill in the required fields, and click Submit Order. You can see that the address 1 string is now displayed on its own line because of the HTML break tag that you added to it. Close your web browser now. And next, you're going to write some C# code to find out the length of a string. C#'s string variables offer a number of useful properties and methods. One of the most useful properties is length. Add a new line at the end of the button submit order click event handler, and add the following code. Response.write begin quotes, opening bracket, end quotes, plus address1.length plus begin quotes, end bracket, end quotes. You're actually joining three strings together here: an opening bracket, the length property of the string, and a closing bracket. This will show the length, that is, the number of characters in the string, in brackets. Now view the page in your browser again, fill in the required fields as before, and click Submit Order. This time you can see the length of the text that you entered in brackets after the text. If you count the number of characters, you'll see that the number is actually 6 more than the number of letters you entered. This is because there are 6 characters in the HTML break tag. Close your browser now and return to Visual Studio. Next, you're going to use the toUpper method of the string variable to make the string all uppercase. Change the line response.write address 1 to response.write address 1 dot toUpper begin brackets end brackets. Now view by.aspx in your web browser and test it in the same way as you have previously. This time, the address 1 text is displayed in uppercase. You can also use the toLower method in the same way to make a string all lowercase. toUpper and toLower are both methods of string variables. You'll learn more about methods in Lesson 6.5. Some other useful methods of string variables include contains, which checks whether a string contains a certain piece of text, index of, which searches for a piece of text inside a string and tells you its position in the string, and split, which splits a string into several strings separated by the character that you choose. Now close your web browser. And finally, you're going to use the replace method to remove all of the spaces from a string. Add a new line after the address1 equals break plus address1 line, and add the following code. address1 equals address1 dot replace begin quotes space end quotes comma begin quotes end quotes. This code will remove all of the spaces from the address1 string. By changing the contents of the two sets of quote marks, you could replace any part of a string with any other string. Now view the page in your browser and test the form again. This time, the spaces are removed from the string when it is displayed on the page after submitting. Close your web browser now and remove all code from the button Submit Order click Event Handler. Now close Visual Studio, saving your changes if prompted. You've now completed Lesson 5.3. Use string variable properties and methods.